The Big Bang Theory, original title of Emmy-winning show starring Jim Parsons, Kaley Cuoco will surprise you. In the vast cosmos of television history, few stars shine as brightly and enduringly as The Big Bang Theory. For 12 seasons, it dominated the ratings, became a cultural touchstone, and turned a cast of relative unknowns into household names. The show's title is now iconic, instantly evoking images of quantum mechanics, comic books, and the melodic cadence of Sheldon Cooper's voice. But what if the universe had unfolded differently? What if, for over a decade, we had been tuning in every Thursday night to a show called Lenny, Penny, and Kenny? This is not an alternate reality fan fiction. This is the surprising and almost cringe-worthy truth from the show's primordial past. The original title, conceived by creators Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady, was not a grand scientific concept, but a straightforward, almost folksy nod to its central characters. The journey from Lenny, Penny, and Kenny to The Big Bang Theory is a story of creative evolution, network intervention, and a last-minute save that arguably shaped the show's entire destiny. The humble beginnings, a character-driven pitch. In the mid-2000s, Chuck Lorre, already a sitcom titan with hits like Dharma and Greg and 2.5 Men, teamed up with writer Bill Prady, who had a background in computer programming. Their shared idea was simple yet novel: to create a sitcom about the brilliant but socially awkward minds who were shaping our world, and what happens when one of them is forced to interact with the real world. The initial pilot, filmed in 2006 with a different actress in the female lead, Amanda Walsh, instead of Kaley Cuoco, centered on two Caltech physicists, Sheldon and Leonard, and their new neighbor, a charismatic woman named Penny. The third key character was a coworker named Kenny, an abrasive astrophysicist. The dynamic was clear: the intellectual Sheldon, the more emotionally accessible Leonard, and the street-smart Penny. Kenny was meant to be the normal scientist, a foil to the extremes of Sheldon and Leonard. Hence, the working title, Lenny, Penny, and Kenny. It was functional. It told you exactly who the show was about. In an early writer's room document, the title is scribbled at the top of a page as if it were the most obvious choice in the world. Speaking anonymously, a former CBS executive recalled the pitch. Chuck and Bill came in. They were passionate. The script was sharp. But that title, we all kind of shifted in our seats. It felt small. It sounded like a children's show or a 1970s sitcom. It didn't hint at the intelligence, the niche humor, or the scale of the concepts they were playing with. The network note that changed everything. The original pilot, with its original title and cast, was tested for audiences. The results were underwhelming. The character of Kenny was deemed unlikable. The actress playing Penny didn't have the right chemistry with Johnny Galecki's Leonard, and the whole package felt flat. Most damningly, the title Lenny, Penny, and Kenny was consistently flagged as forgettable and confusing. Who were these people? Why should we care? This is where the modern television machine proved its worth. CBS, seeing the potential in the premise, did not simply cancel the project. Instead, they gave Lorre and Prady a rare and precious gift: a second chance. They ordered a recast and a rewrite. It was during this creative recalibration that the title became a central point of discussion. Bill Prady, in a later interview, explained the shift in thinking. We realized the show wasn't just about these three people. It was about a worldview. It was about the clash between empiricism and intuition, between the laws of the universe and the messy rules of social interaction. The Big Bang wasn't just a scientific theory. It was a metaphor for the explosive collision of these two worlds when Penny entered Leonard and Sheldon's life. The title The Big Bang Theory was suddenly on the table. It was grand, it was intelligent, and it was thematically perfect. It spoke to the origin of the universe, but also to the origin of this new, chaotic, and beautiful friendship. It was a title that promised smart comedy, not just a domestic sitcom about neighbors. The ripple effect of a new title, the change was more than cosmetic. It was foundational. With the new title, the show's identity snapped into focus. The writers began to lean more heavily into scientific jargon and concepts, knowing the title gave them permission. The infamous Soft Kitty song, the whiteboards filled with complex equations, and the deep-cut comic book references, all these elements felt cohesive under the banner of the Big Bang Theory. They might have seemed out of place in a show called Lenny, Penny, and Kenny. Furthermore, the recasting solidified this new direction. Jim Parsons' portrayal of Sheldon Cooper became the show's cornerstone, a character so unique and defined that the original trio-centric title would have been a misrepresentation. Kaley Cuoco brought a warmth and vivacity to Penny that anchored the entire series, and the character of Kenny was written out, his role essentially absorbed and redistributed, eventually finding a more perfect expression in the characters of Howard Wolowitz and Raj Koothrappali, who were added to the main cast. Imagine the cultural lexicon without the Big Bang Theory. The phrase "bazinga," emerging from a show called Lenny, Penny, and Kenny feels improbable. The show celebrated episodes like the bath item gift hypothesis or the adhesive duct deficiency carry a certain weight because of their juxtaposition with the high-concept title. The title itself became a character, a promise of a specific brand of humor that celebrated, rather than mocked, intelligence. A universe of what-ifs. It's a fascinating exercise in counterfactual history. Would a show titled Lenny, Penny, and Kenny have run for 279 episodes and won 10 Emmys? Most television historians and critics argue it would not. Titles are marketing, says Dr. Elena Craig, a pop culture professor. They are the first and most important piece of information an audience receives. The Big Bang Theory is provocative and memorable. It stands out in a TV guide. Lenny, Penny, and Kenny blends into the background. It suggests a conventional relationship comedy, which might have initially attracted a different audience but would have ultimately limited its growth and intellectual ambition. The success of the show is inextricably linked to its branding. The title gave it permission to be nerdy, and in doing so, it made nerdiness mainstream. The story of the show's original title is more than a piece of trivia. It's a testament to the collaborative, often precarious, process of television production. It highlights how a single creative decision, a network note, a last-minute change of heart, can alter the trajectory of a cultural phenomenon. The universe, as we are told, began with a Big Bang. It seems fitting that the show about the people who best understand that concept also needed its own creative Big Bang to become the beloved, era-defining sitcom we know today. We have Chuck Lorre, Bill Prady, and a few skeptical CBS executives to thank for ensuring that we never had to live in a world where we asked, "Did you see Lenny, Penny, and Kenny last night?"